What's going on, Aces? Welcome back to the channel. I hope that you guys are having a wonderful Sunday evening. So, the Real Housewives of Atlanta, Angela Oakley, she is on the radio. Shout out to 107.5. She's clearing up any rumors that may be circulating regarding her husband, Charles Oakley, and a possibility of a quote unquote break baby. She's like, we're not doing the whole Dwayne Wade and Gabrielle Union thing over here. Okay, she said that there are no break babies. So let's go ahead and hear from Mrs. Oakley, and then I'll give some commentary at the end.
People were giving a lot of not backlash, but like they were trying to pry into your relationship with Charles because clearly you guys were separated for a while.
We were not, and a lot of people. See, let's clear that up because we can clear, and it more will come out in the show. When he got drugged out of Madison Square Garden, like I see people are saying that's not a big deal. This is Charles Oakley going to the New York Knicks game, a team that he gave his blood, sweat, and tears. He has bruises on him to this day, scars that will never heal from playing in that arena. So he's at a game and he gets drugged out on national television. That's just like someone coming in here dragging you out of here unprovoked for life. And this is a man with, I'm not going to say ego, but
pride,
who has pride. So when that happened to him, that was traumatic. And when I say traumatic, I didn't recognize him anymore. And I don't even think he knew who he was anymore because everything was snatched from him. So we separated in that time. Yes, we separated, meaning you go do you go figure this out. And I'll be here when you need my support. But you can't keep pushing my support away because he didn't know what it was. Like, he didn't understand what was happening to him. So I gave him grace. Now, with that being said, he got to see if this is what he wanted. And, in that time, he found his way back home. But that's what happened. But go ahead.
Okay, but he did have a son or a baby.
No!
He didn't have an outside baby.
No!
I don't want to call baby outside, but all your kids are between the two of you.
No, he has a son.
Okay, now help me out, friend.
But I don't know when it's coming out because I kind of wanted to play out on the show because I love that this Wendy Williams story is kind of like growing legs.
Okay.
This is something that happened in 2020 where I saw Wendy at a party, and me being a fan of Wendy is like, oh my God, Wendy, you going through it, sis. Let me tell you, it's just a baby. And Charles and Wendy have been friends 30 years. Like, they've known each other. So he's been on her show. And so they had an event together, and we're coming together to cook for this event. And I'm like, Wendy, girl, stay with your husband. It's just a baby. And she was like, get away from me. And she was like, has that ever happened to you? And I'm like, yes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This lady goes on her big platform and says, I pointed to my husband, who actually wasn't even around us in this conversation. And I'm like, no, Wendy, my daughter's father, my 25-year-old father, did that to me. So I'm like, and the best thing that ever happened to me was my 25-year-old.
Yeah.
So I'm like, Wendy, like, girl, it's okay. Charles Oakley did not have a side baby on me. And I am not, I'm not against women who stay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because we're going to work out. They're going to work out whatever they need to work out. It could be someone looking at my marriage and like, girl, you stay. When he cook his bacon, he cook it too black. It could be anything. Like, women want to pry, or people want to pry in your relationship to see why you stay. I don't judge other women if they stay in any situation. But that's just not my story. So my husband did not have a side baby on me. And I hate, and every time it comes up, people are like, here you go. See, this is you and your big ass. Ow, excuse me.
Oh, yeah, the family.
Like, you should have never went up to Wendy Williams and said nothing to her. That's what he's saying. Like, you don't even know her.
But you were trying to be supportive.
I was, but not to Wendy, like, really. And that's why I slow played my way into the Housewives. I'm like, I'm not going to go hard on any of these women before I know who they are.
Yeah.
Without, because Wendy taught me a valuable lesson. Shut your mouth.
Wow. I'm glad you were able to clear that up. And I'm like,
it plays out in the show.
Okay, good. And people were giving a lot of back.
Okay, so we know that it plays out on the show. She said there is no side babies over here. Her 25-year-old, I'm assuming that's, like she said, her daughter. So I'm assuming that's the young lady that is in the bottom picture, the bottom right picture. The one that got married, it didn't tell her. See, that's here's the thing with Angela, right? After she said that her and her daughter, they're best friends. However, her daughter gets married and doesn't even tell her mother. It doesn't give credibility to what Angela is saying. You know what I mean? So now the whole season, I'm going to be looking at her, with kind of like a side eye. And I have to be honest. Angela downplaying, you know, Kevin stepping out on Wendy and having a whole baby on her. I mean, that's a huge breach of trust. Him stepping out, period, right? Him cheating, period, breaks their vows. That's number one. But just to be as, careless and as sloppy as to actually get your mistress pregnant and then have a baby on her, like it's just horrific. I mean, I could only imagine, if Kevin didn't step out on Wendy and, he was there to support her through her Graves' disease and all of her health issues. I really don't feel like she would be in a conservatorship, now windmilling for her life and fighting for her freedom. Like if her husband was actually a decent human being, he's, crying to his cornflakes, talking about how he's broke. And Wendy is, locked away on the fifth floor of a conservatorship with, I feel like, not only her guardian Sabrina and the judge and the doctor and the banks. I feel like they're all in cahoots to essentially drain Wendy of all of her financial resources if they haven't done so already. And I feel like they have. You know, Sabrina sold her condo at a loss. She took away her cats. She probably sold those too. You know what I mean? Like the whole thing is just, I feel like it all began with Kevin and his irresponsibility. Him stepping out on, now I'm not going to blame him for, Wendy's decision to, um, use and abuse substances and things like that, genetics and illness. And, I guess it's complicated. It's a very complicated, complex situation. But I don't want to make this video all about Wendy. My thing is, I can understand where she was coming from with not wanting to stay with a man who is so reckless that he puts your life on the line. You know what I mean? Like when you essentially cheat on someone, especially your partner who you're intimate with, your spouse, that's putting your physical health, your mental health, your spiritual health, all of those things on the line. You can't trust that person after that. So I don't blame Wendy for wanting to leave him. Angela, I feel like she was saying, she was trying to downplay, like, oh, it's just a baby. No, it's just not. Now, I'm glad that she said that her 25-year-old daughter is the best thing, that happened to her. And that's great. The Bible, says the children are a reward from the Lord. They're a blessing. But it's unfortunate how the child came into be if, she was brought into a circumstance where a man felt like he had to essentially cheat or step out on Angela. And I feel like that kind of plays into their dynamic because they don't seem as close as Angela wants us to believe. Just from that statement alone, where she, her daughter's like, well, she's trying to basically downplay. She's like almost a replica of her mom, in my opinion. She's trying to downplay the fact that she got married and did not tell her mother. And now she's having all these issues with her aunt and her grandmother. And my question is, so does she not live with her spouse? Does her spouse not have a car? Like the whole situation is just, it's so confusing. I'm just like, Angela, I don't know. There's so much, I don't want to say secrecy, but there's so many things that aren't adding up. And there's so many questions that I have. So I'm really glad that she said that it's going to all play out on the show because I'm so confused. But I will say if it is true that, Charles didn't step out and have, any outside children, that's wonderful. It is interesting. I will say I clocked it when she was introducing her family at the beginning of the season. And she's like, this is, my child. This is Charles's child. This is, she was very particular into, how she introduce the children and just saying, instead of just saying, this is our blended family, like these are our children, right? If you guys all have the same last name Oakley, then it doesn't matter whether or not the child was born before or after. That's one thing I can say I appreciate about, well, people who do adopt or do, like blended families well, like Russell Wilson and Sierra. He doesn't say, well, this is Sierra's son Future and this is, my children with Sierra. Like, no, he adopted Future as his own. He treats him as his own. And his own father, Future Senior, is, when a reporter asked Sierra about child support or, Future showing up in his son's life, all she could do was laugh, But I mean, I'm so grateful that, Sierra's prayer, right? People are still talking about it. I'm still an advocate of it. Her and Russell, I feel like they do a great job with their children. They're very loving family and they're a blended family. And I feel like that's how you should be, So I don't know. I'm really looking forward to finding out more about Angela's family dynamic because of the secrecy. Like I feel like she's one of the most interesting people on the show. Because now it's like now I want my questions answered. Like now I'm intrigued. Charles, to be honest, he doesn't seem very enamored with his wife. Like he seems very indifferent. He's not as bad as Britt Edie's husband Mike. Like he doesn't give her side church hugs, and he doesn't, he's not as dismissive, but he's just not very kind toward Angela, and that rubs me the wrong way. Like that bothers me. Like the only one that I feel like is really a good husband on here that we've seen so far is Shamia's husband, Gerald. Like shout out to Gerald. I feel like Shamia should have been a housewife a long time ago, but I understand that he was trying to protect her and didn't want her to be on the show, which again, smart. Like I feel like that was him being a good husband as well. Because the show is messy and the whole reality TV curse where a lot of families have broken up after coming on reality TV. So I know he doesn't want that for his, and hopefully this will bring them closer together. But yeah, Charles Oakley, he gives me very like hands off and just not very, I don't know. He like the way he talks to Angela's very condescending, like when they were in the kitchen and he was telling her, he was like ordering her around the kitchen and stuff. I don't like it. But listen, I mean, that's her husband, so if she likes it, then I love it. But anyway, I wanted you guys to hear that from her, that there are no outside children. Hopefully, maybe they can all get together and sit down with a good marriage and family therapist, or even bring back Spirit, on the show, and find out why her daughter didn't tell her mom, even though Angela wants us to believe that they're best friends. I'm like, no, boo boo, that's not giving BFF. Why she didn't tell her mom that she got pregnant, why she's falling out with her auntie and grandmother over a car, which is, in my opinion, such a small reason to fall out. I hate when people, relationships, whether they're family or romantic, when people fall out over money, it kills me. But why Charles acts so indifferent toward his wife and his family. Like, it just, I don't know. He bothers me. Like the way he treats them, it's like nails on a chalkboard. I don't know. He tap dances on my last nerve. But anyway, like if she says, she's gonna it's gonna play out on the show, then I will continue to watch. I will be tuned in. You guys, let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Please be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I will talk with you in the next one. Take care, aces. Bye.